I hope you got a coffee as well, because we have some very, very exciting panels to come, especially regarding the 4 topics, or 3 topics, should I say, that are of this summit. So education, adoption, and operational resilience. I hope you've been learning a lot. This is the final half of the summit, so please take time to grab your seats, grab your headphones so that you can listen in to all that is going to be said right now. The next panel is going to be very interesting on the basis of some of the panelists that are going to be there, but also the fact that Web3 is founded on a lot of what is going to be discussed today, which is strategic partnerships, collaboration, working together, and trying to really build for the future. So I'd say, without further ado, let's let our panelists on stage, and we'll take it from there. So I know JJ from IOHK is coming on stage, so yeah, we'll let you come on. And Husky as well. Woo! Those steps are quite small for such a big husky. All right, let's give Husky a round of applause.
Okay, turning around.
Hello.
Slowly down.
Hello, everyone.
Is that okay? Nearly got knocked out.
All right, so exploring new markets through strategic partnerships. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Put this in our pocket.
Going well so far.
All right, so I'm very excited to welcome our guests here. We have Clint here from Tangent, the CTO. We have Patrick Tobler here from Endmaker, CEO. Lena Onto with Clay Nation, CEO, founder extraordinaire. And then Hosky. It's actually Hosky. I'm very excited. I have the best panel. We clearly have the best panel. I'm very excited to be here and being moderator for this. We're going to talk a little bit about strategic partnerships and how it's accelerated growth and partnerships that you've seen evolve and change over the years. And I'm very excited to welcome our guests. So, Lena, I'm going to ask you first here. I would love to learn a little bit more about the Ledgerverse partnership and what you've got going on there. It seems like a really interesting sandbox.
Oh, straight in there with that. So yeah, hi everyone, I'm Lena from Clay Nation. And yeah, so on topic of partnerships, we've partnered with a few people, one of which being Ledger. And they've recently recreated their HQ in the sandbox. So it's kind of a 3-way partnership between, actually there's a few other projects involved, but between us, the sandbox and Ledger. And they've done something called the Ledgerverse inside the sandbox. And it's basically a fully explorative sandbox experience in which, during that experience, you can interact with our main character, RG, and
Right.
He'll help you find the way to win some rewards, actually, yeah.
Rewards in the sandbox.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
very cool. Okay, moving on to Patrick here. I'm very curious. We had an announcement today that you have actually put diamonds on the blockchain. This is a pretty insane announcement. Can you talk about how you've been onboarding people and how this partnership has worked out and how the NFT process has worked behind the diamonds?
Sure. You know, I've been doing NFT and tokenization infrastructure for 2.5 years, and as an infrastructure provider, I think it's especially important to foster partnerships around the ecosystem and bring everyone on board. And I've made it a point to always say, okay, we need these real-world use cases to actually bring people into Cardano, like new people. Otherwise, we're not going to grow. So things like tokenizing diamonds or tokenizing real-world assets, that's like the thing I believe that will onboard the next 100 of million of users. And now we have diamonds, which are not very accessible, right? I wouldn't even come to the idea of buying a diamond normally, but now that they're tokenized, I can actually sell them, and we're doing that with Diamonds, cool company on Ethereum, now coming to Cardano.
I think it's especially important for diamonds too, because then you can trace provenance too. You can see where they came from, and obviously that's a huge issue in the diamond industry. I think it has a lot of promise here. Okay, Hosky, I'm looking at you. Yeah, okay. I would love to know how a token that promises nothing more than fun really can help create strategic partnerships. How does fun as the driving force behind a project develop those relationships, and how has that changed over time?
Sure. So achieving partnerships in a project that promises nothing other than fun, like Hosky, might seem unusual, but it's all about the community and the shared values. While Hosky doesn't offer any financial promises, It does offer a unique and entertaining experience in the Cardano ecosystem. The entertainment value attracts community members that are like-minded, who appreciate the humor, satire, a lighthearted approach to cryptocurrency. Now, partnerships in Hosky, I believe, are driven by shared goals, which includes supporting charitable causes like the UNHCR stake pool, and promoting the principles of decentralization. When organizations and entities do align then with Hosky's mission and values, then they see an opportunity to tap into a very passionate community. These partnerships can definitely go beyond financial gain and focus more on making a positive impact and having fun along the way. In essence, Hosky's success is basically achieving partnerships achieving partnerships is a testament to the power of community humor and a commitment to Cardano's core principles, even in the world of memes.
That is excellent. Thank you very much. Okay, Clint, last but not least, save the best for last, of course. Tangent, you're now doing NFT issuance, generative AI with a partnership with Saturn NFT, correct? I would love to hear a little bit more about this partnership. Obviously, AI is very hot right now, so everybody's very excited about this.
Yeah, exactly. We believe AI is going to be incorporated into everyday life for everybody and in all aspects of the economy. So we're quick to move on to that, and we're lucky to have found a really great partner, Saturn NFT, who we're using their infrastructure and their tech stack to do the minting of the NFT. But the actual generative AI part is done in the back end with Midjourney, and it's a tool for NFT artists who perhaps are not too great at graphic design. With a few prompts, they can generate any image, and then they can also modify that and then click and mint the NFT straight away.
That's so easy.
It's really easy, and yeah, it's one of our key principles is that we want to incorporate AI into all aspects of our apps and our services. And yeah, we think this is a great way to bring more users and more people into the cryptocurrency ecosystem and onto Cardano.
That's fantastic. Okay, so I'm very curious here. The Clay Falls project, Lena. This is a new effort here, and you're working with Good Charlotte, I understand, to kind of drive growth and reach a new fan base.
Yeah, so we've worked with Good Charlotte. We continue to work with them, as well as Snoop Dogg and Cordell Broadus, who's Snoop Dogg's son. With the Clay Falls event that's going live in the next week or two, it's not so much that it's about the strategic partnerships, but it's kind of more all-encompassing, and the aim is to actually have something that's fully accessible to everyone. So the event will take place just for a week. Anyone can play it, and all you have to do is you would have to have a token to take part, but then there's going to be a huge prize pool. And the idea really is just like, even if you don't hold a clay, you still will dip your toe in and try and learn a little bit about it.
That's wonderful. It's the token is just the beginning of it. Obviously, it's a big, all-encompassing experience, but you're reaching a lot of people just by talking to fans of different communities. I think one of the big focuses for Clay Nation obviously is community, and I think it's brilliant how many different communities you're bringing together through a project like this.
Yeah, exactly. And like we've had people that had never heard of NFTs, never heard of blockchain, never heard of crypto, but they have heard of the Madden Brothers of Good Charlotte, and they have heard of Snoop Dogg, and through that they've landed with us, and those are the people that we'd like to onboard, and we believe that's a great way to onboard users. Yeah,
I agree. Okay, Patrick, I'm interested in this. We are very interested in learning a little bit more about the partnership with Emergo, which was announced recently, to grow and do asset issuance in Asia Pacific area and all around the world. Can you tell us a little bit more about this? I know it's brand new, maybe something that you haven't already mentioned, but I would love to learn about the details of that and how that came into being and how that's grown.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been trying to get close to like a lot of the Cardano projects, of course, especially the founding entities, and have done so over the last 2.5 years. And Emergo was always like a tough nut to crack. They felt a little bit like distance maybe from the community, but there has been, from my perspective, a really big shift in the last like months and years, and it really changed a lot. And suddenly, Emergo is everywhere, it's doing so many cool things. And then we just spoke, and basically we're on the same level of alignment. We like what each other is doing, and they have, of course, a great network in Asia, which we don't have any access to. So I think it's a great partnership. And yeah, that's really the idea. I want to bring Emergo closer to the Cardano ecosystem, and they basically
great.
bring real world closer to us.
With Amar now, head of ecosystem over there, right? It's a completely different
Yeah.
approach to solving that. And
Yeah, Amar is amazing.
Yeah, they're all amazing. And Nikhil is operations officer now. And fantastic. So
Exactly.
it's a new way to engage with the community. And have you discussed anything about how that partnership's going to grow and develop in Asia Pacific?
So I can't share any super
Okay.
specific details, but it's gonna have a lot of things to it that hopefully in the next few weeks will be revealed.
More real world asset issuance projects?
That's the idea. Yeah,
Okay,
that's like
good.
the
So maybe
goal.
some Asia Pacific real world asset stuff. That's very cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. Okay, Clint, I'm very curious about the partnerships that you develop with DeFi projects in the space and how that's kind of grown over time. I know you've started small and now it's kind of getting a little bit bigger with companies like Genius Yield, if that's right.
Yeah, that's right. We've been people from Genius Yield have reached out to us, and they'd like us to set up a Tang ADA pair on their DeFi app. And I think it's really great because a lot of times people think it's tribalism in Cardano, and there's a lot of competition. But actually, we're
Sure.
all part of the same tribe, and two different DeFi projects can have cross-chain collaboration, and we can grow our user base together.
So what are the mechanics of a partnership like that? How did you meet them? How did the conversation come up? So you started with just a single conversation and it's gone into a full-blown,
Yeah,
a standing call? How does it actually work in practice? I'm sure people would be curious to hear that.
Yeah, good question. So actually, we usually meet each other at functions like this at the summit, and you're saying hi, and then you start checking out each other's apps and websites, and then more emails and direct messages on Twitter, and then soon they say, hey, we're setting up this tool, this service. We'd like you to come and try it on pre-prod. Come check it out.
You just ask to work together? Is it that easy? You just come to a relevant event and find someone you want to work with and make a friend? Is that it?
I think the most important thing is you have to see what are their values. Do you have shared vision and that kind of thing. That's really important.
That's excellent. Hosky, one of my favorite things that I've seen this year, a partnership with Vesper Wallet that you put together was the POO, the proof of onboarding partnership that you put together with Vesper Wallet. Can you tell the folks in the audience a little bit more about the Vesper Wallet experience and what that was like and how that has really grown and driven adoption for you?
Yeah, so a few months back, we actually started thinking about a way to onboard users easily onto the Cardano ecosystem. Our idea was let's print seed phrases, stick them on postcards, and hand them out at events. Definitely not the most crypto secure way to hand over seed phrases. So we actually, through Adam Dean of BuffyBot, got in contact with the Vesper Wallet team who helped us create the proof of onboarding protocol. And what proof of onboarding is basically a way to easily onboard users. You scan a QR code, download the wallet, in this case Vesper, scan a second QR code from within the wallet, and you actually get an airdrop directly to your wallet of tokens, Cardano native tokens. These can be NFTs, these can be fungible tokens. And it just makes the user experience super easy. So, within a couple of minutes, you can have a user that is now on the Cardano blockchain with their own self-custody wallet, and you now have, or they have access to the entire ecosystem. Now, with the proof of onboarding, again, it started about 2 months ago. We did a trial run at the Edinburgh CIP 1694 workshop. It went great. The rates for claim there was about 40%. Obviously, it was a Cardano event, so people were familiar. We've done trials at Cardano events like NFTXLV as well as Rare Evo, but we also did a NASCAR race in Martinville, Virginia, where we passed out about 600 codes, and we had a claim rate of about 20%, which was actually surprisingly high for a non-crypto event.
That's remarkable, actually. So you just handed out 600 cards, and 20% of the people at a race, this is just a non-crypto event, they were able to bring their users, and then they had Hosky tokens on a Vesper wallet. Is that right?
They were unfortunate enough to get Hosky, but yes, we definitely, we were surprised ourselves. The closest thing I can compare this to is coupons, which have like a 2% redemption rate. So getting 10 times the amount was quite surprising. Actually, another testament to the success of the proof of onboarding protocol is here at this event. We are passing out those cards. You can find some at the Intersect booth, but there's also 3 other projects that are using it here at this event, plus countless other remote summits that are actually doing or using this onboarding protocol to give users that are attending some tokens, NFTs. Again, you can put anything on these to be able to bring new users or reward existing users.
That's actually fascinating. So you've partnered with other firms to utilize this proof of onboarding protocol, and then they've been able to use that partnership to bring more people onto their, whatever it is that they want to direct traffic to.
Correct. It's a snowballing effect.
Okay.
So if we can all, again, we always talk about onboarding the millions, and if we all just focus on onboarding one person at a time, we will get there.
I think that's really a fascinating thing. Obviously, the adoption problem, getting over that non-crypto user being able to take the jump and then have a wallet and assets at the same time in one move. I mean, it takes, what, maybe 5 minutes to execute one of these?
You should be able to do it within 2 minutes tops.
2 minutes. That's
Yep.
amazing. Now, I have my card here. I have to find it. Where is it? Patrick put together something like this. We mentioned the diamonds thing, all right? So here's something very similar to that. And if you run into the EndMaker team and the folks, you might get one of these. Actually, similar experience. You scan a code, and you can get, you're entered in to win part of a diamond, potentially. There's physical validation, there's insurance, there's certification. This is a fascinating experience. What was the experience like setting up something like this?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we've been very inspired, of course, by Pooh, and the initial idea was really to replicate Pooh and work together with the Pooh team, and then expand it, because Pooh at the moment only works with Vesper, but I know for a fact by talking with Adam Dean and many others that this will be expanded to many other wallets very soon, and I think if we just use this at all the events, if we onboard people in person, that's a lot more powerful than just sending out a link online or something like that.
Very true.
So yeah, I'm very happy about that. I think it's great to see how small the ecosystem is and how we're all collaborating. I think that's the most important part. Even with like the CIPs all published by by Alessandro for NFTs, and then Saturn taking them over and pushing them more and more, and all the NFT marketplaces. Everything is kind of working together, and that's really the strength of like such a small ecosystem.
It's a huge strength when one firm can innovate, and then you can immediately take that process and implement it for your own designs. It's really fascinating stuff. I'm curious. Okay, I keep saying I'm curious. I'm so curious about all these things. There's so many interesting topics. Y'all are doing amazing work, and it's clear that you are experts on strategic partnerships. Clint, what is this deal with Cathay Pacific, where you've got a beer deal? This is something it's started small, maybe like a pint.
Yep,
Now it's
that's right.
getting more like a keg over time.
That's right. Started with just some drinks in a bar, and then luckily enough, we met the CEO of Guaylo Beer. They're a multinational brewery with breweries all around the world, in USA, in Hong Kong, in Australia. And their CEO, he's very into NFTs. He loves NFTs, he loves tokenization, he loves crypto. And we said, hey, we're really interested in doing a tokenized beer offering. And they're the perfect partner for it, because they actually cater to Cathay Pacific. They do the food and beverage first class for Cathay, for the beverage, sorry. And we're basically doing the tokenized beer offering.
Is it proof of beer? Is that what it's
right.
called?
That's
okay.
what we coined that now, proof of
great.
beer.
So you have, how does that work in practice? So you're developing NFTs for the beer? Is it supply chain NFTs, or how does it work? You can track the beer, or I'm curious.
Yeah, so there'll basically be two NFTs. One's a certificate of authenticity, and the other one is a beer that an NFT represents the tokenized beer on the blockchain, and then that can be redeemed. And when you redeem it, you take it out of circulation, and you get another NFT to say it was redeemed, and then you get it shipped to your address. But one of the main headaches was the logistics for this. So
right.
Yeah.
So you got a bunch of. It's a different set of partnerships to actually do the delivery side of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So there's a real world component to this stuff too. It's not just partnerships in the crypto space.
Exactly. There's all kinds of things about beer will expire eventually.
Yeah.
So
are you mailing in just a single beer to people in the mail? Is that what it looks like?
Yeah. There has to be like a minimum order of say like 6 cans.
Okay, that makes sense.
But one of the really cool things that we're doing is we want to build communities around these products, and then actually have feedback from the community, and then we can the next NFT that gets produced will be tailored and custom made to what everyone voted on and wanted, And there's some really funky things that we can do with the beer. For instance, we can do like a beer that's brewed in a champagne whiskey cask, and then it also has like gold flakes in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You could even do a frame on the outside of the NFT, something like that, to represent the addition or something.
As a German, I'm very opposed of this idea.
Well, Germany has some of the best beers. For sure. I agree with that.
Oh yeah, no, that's amazing. I really like the idea of tokenizing beer, but we have something called the Reinheitsgebot, so clarity like rule.
Exactly. The first place we're going to launch it is going to be in the US, and it will be non-alcoholic.
Very exciting.
Yep.
Len, I'm curious. What ways have you used community to really engage and create strategic partnerships? I know that we kind of touched on it a little bit more, but I want to open it up a bit just for you to kind of talk about the theme and more broadly. I'm very curious about how Clay Nation has actually gotten this done.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we've grown our community since we launched over 2 years ago, and I guess the way that I wouldn't say use the community, but work with the community to decide on those strategic partnerships and what works best is by having that really direct line of communication with them through things like Twitter, Discord, and the like. We have that constant feedback loop, so we're discussing it. We can gauge we can read the room, basically. So, if we put out teasers or feelers and people really like it, then we're going to go ahead and push with it. If we put something out and it isn't, then we'll change direction. So I think, with that in mind, and as we kind of continue with development and rolling out parts of Clay Nation, there will be things that we try and don't move forward with. And there will be some things that we make complete shifts on just because we are working with the community in that sense.
It's the idea is really good feedback loops.
Yeah.
It's listening to the communities, really using them as crowdsourcing feedback and trying to understand how best to bring people together, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And small but consistent and regular releases will really help us to do that and to gauge that interest and which direction people want things to go in. Because it's a big task at hand, but at the same time, with the right people involved and the right support, and even within our ecosystem, as the guys were just saying, at these events when you meet people and you talk to them and you figure out where you can align and what you can do together, and it does really help.
That's brilliant. Husky, what do you think the future of partnerships are going to look like in the blockchain space? How do you think that partnerships are going to evolve? You think it's been technologically driven, socially driven? I'm interested in your thoughts on this.
I think that partnerships and growth have encompassed both aspects. There's definitely a social aspect to creating a partnership. They can be pivotal in strengthening your brand or your project. The social side of it, I dare say, is the one that I'm more comfortable with speaking to, simply because of the fact that when it comes to Hosky, that's kind of how it all started. It was something that was a social experiment of sorts, social pressure per se, when it comes to decentralization. Now, what does the future hold for partnerships? There really isn't a recipe, and I think every project is going to be able to, or is going to need to identify how they can grow, what is the right partnership to establish, and what is the wrong partnership. There are such things as partnerships that come up. You start on down a path, and then halfway there you realize maybe this wasn't the best idea, and you have to learn to pivot away from that. So again, I think the biggest tip here is look at the partnerships, reevaluate, and adjust accordingly.
Patrick, I have the same question for you. I think you have a very different perspective on this. Maybe you have a sense where the technology is going or what NFTs could look like in the future. But broadly, where do you think partnerships might look like in 2030?
In 2030, wow. I think when this whole ecosystem started, a lot of it is still about making money for many people, for many projects, especially in the bull market. Of course, there's a lot of hype, and you want to have partnerships with every single project.
Sure.
And people need to realize that what Hosky just said is very true. You don't have every partnership being the perfect fit. Every single Cardano NFT project, of course, wants to partner with the Clay Nation, but they can't do all of that. They need to pick the partnerships that make sense and that can accelerate the growth of their project and also the ecosystem. And that's really, from a social perspective, I think what has changed. We don't just do random partnerships anymore. We just focus on where we can actually deliver value by creating this partnership. And from a technical perspective, I know everything is changing. So we're moving away from just randomly launching tokens and stuff like that. We're moving more towards like actually solving problems with NFTs and with tokens, and blockchain in general. So I hope that we see a lot more like real world utility coming to the space through partnerships.
That's brilliant. Real world utility. Solving the problem, not just coming up with some sort of blockchain implementation, but using the technology we have, a variety of different tools to actually solve problems. I think it's going to become, I listened to a panel recently, and they said, there was a moment between 2008 and 2014 roughly where people used to say, oh, I'm building a booking app on mobile and it's going to be amazing. And then by the end of that era, they just started saying, I'm building a booking app. They had to stop, they stopped specifying, oh, I'm building mobile. It just became a tool for solving the problem, which I think was great. That was Avichal Garg, actually.
That's a great
Electric
example,
Capital.
actually.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Okay, Clint, how do these partnerships provide kind of a low-cost way to enter in new markets?
Yeah, good question. I mean, when partnerships are really important for this because you can leverage the existing infrastructure of the other company that you're partnering with. So, for instance, with Guilo Beer, when we launch a new tokenized offering of a new beer in, say, Australia, then we're expanding our user base, and that's one of the metrics that we're following. Is like the amount of users that we can onboard onto Cardano. So I think that's really important. And then one other thing is, I think in the future we're going to see more and more brick and mortar businesses doing tokenizations and partnerships with cryptocurrency. That now everyone in the world that is really knows what an NFT is. They all know about Bitcoin and things, and so it's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Hosky, how do we make more fun partnerships out there? How do we actually? What's the secret to a fun partnership?
I would say it's market fit or community fit in this case. If you want to have fun, come to the Hosky community. If you're looking for profits, this is not where you want to go. I think a lot of it has to do with just being upfront with your community, letting them know that what to expect. So Hosky is well known for being a very self-aware meme token / NFT project. We will not make any promises. So I think it's users can have fun when the projects are upfront about what they are doing and what they can expect. It's not fun to hear a promise and then there be no delivery. That's the complete opposite. So be upfront, be honest. We're all humans and or dogs. Therefore, we can make mistakes. Just own up to them.
Humans and or dogs. That's right. That's right. Lena, I had a thought here. Obviously, Clay Nation has one of the best aesthetics of any of the NFT projects on Cardano. Why is it important, and can you speak to the importance of bringing artists and musicians and people that really value beautiful things out there into your network of people that you work with?
Yeah, sure. I mean, some people would disagree that it's the most aesthetic, but I agree. Yeah, I think that it's something that was important to us from the beginning was to do something a little bit different and stand out. So in whichever way that is, with Clay Animation, it's something that does resonate with people in a way that's actually really been an enabler for us to reach out to those partnerships, because you have 1,000 projects that, there's lots that are different, but there are a lot that look very, very similar. And when people see our project and have seen our project, and they've come to us and asked, actually, yeah, I really like Claymation, and it was Snoop that said that he loved Gumby when he was watching stuff. Good Charlotte were also a huge fan of Claymation, so they actually reached out to us because of that, not because we were an NFT project or because of anything else. It really was about the art, so to speak. So then we were able to take it further, and it's put us in a really good position for that sense.
There's a really nice sweet spot in between branding and artistic value, and if you can, it's beautiful what you've made, honestly.
Thank you. Yeah, and it is important, and something that there are some things that from the beginning, we didn't necessarily think about it as a whole when it comes to branding. It's something that we've actually had to kind of take a few steps back and start thinking about what exactly that is. Are we for kids? Are we for adults? Well, if we're for kids, then we need to remove those joints, and if not, then there's something else. But it's been a really good learning curve, and we have everybody, lots and lots of different people that enjoy it, and it has allowed us to work with these other projects like the Sandbox Ledger, and so to speak. Yeah.
I think that's brilliant. And the Ledger partnership, and can you describe a little bit, how is that going? Are you enjoying the time?
Yeah, we are. What we're enjoying is the fact that it's enabling us to educate more people about the security of it. Something that's such a big issue. And by working with people like Ledger, it gives us credibility as well. You know, it means people do trust us as a project a bit more. And then
It's a trusted brand, obviously.
Exactly. And then from there, we're more likely to work with others. So in terms of strategic partnerships, hopefully people can look at us and say, okay, they've worked with Ledger, they've worked with the Sandbox. Those are two industry leaders. So we can maybe partner with them.
I love that. Patrick, you're one of the best in the industry in our little Cardano ecosystem about creating partnerships with SML firms, a variety of different partnerships at EndMaker. What is the secret to creating a meaningful relationship, a meaningful partnership? What have you found works?
That's a good question. I think bothering people at events like
bothering them, going right up to them,
just talking to everyone, showing up all the time. That's my secret. But no, actually, I genuinely believe in this whole giving first and taking second kind of approach that Gary Vee always preaches. I try to when projects approach me, I always try to help them. It doesn't matter if I can or can't, even if it's just a connect or so, because if you help them first, something will come back, and maybe it's 10 years, maybe it's 20, but something will come back, and that's really how I try to operate EndMaker.
That's really beautiful. You know, it's like
Thank
really
you.
strong.
You're
ethical.
very beautiful.
Thanks. Okay, Clint, can you tell us a little bit more about Tangent Protocol, just as a company, and where you would like to see, if you could pick any sort of partner, what you would do?
Wow, that's a loaded question about the partner. Which partner we
Sure,
pick,
yeah.
But,
Well, a new partner. Obviously, you love all your current partners and all the wonderful relationships you have, but...
I guess number one would definitely have to be the Cardano Foundation or Emergo.
Good. That's also very good.
Yeah.
I think they're here. So, Tangent? Okay.
In the future, yeah, we're building a DAO, so
Okay.
around Tangent, and we want it to be a community-owned project. And we're also building a treasury, which will be used to fund the different tools and products that we're building.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And we want to make it fun and get as many people involved as possible. And reaching out into new markets and also onboarding people. And I think education, like we touched upon before, is very important because we want, right now we see banks are moving into custody for crypto, and that's great. I think that's a missing jigsaw piece in the puzzle. A lot of people don't want to do their own custody, but at the same time, we know that self-custody and decentralization is the strongest, most protective barrier for the industry that's going to protect everyone long run. So
absolutely. Well, there's a careful balance there between making it easy for people to get signed up and own their own keys, or with a hardware device like a ledger, be able to make sure that they own their keys. Not your keys, not your crypto, right? But it's incredible, right?
Yeah, I mean, it also looks like they're going to have the option maybe one day to save their Hosky tokens in the HSBC bank vault as well, which is pretty cool.
That's amazing. Yeah. Well, if you're looking for a fun partnership, I think it would be a really cool upshot of this panel. If you're looking for a fun partnership, we have one of the most fun partnerships or fun projects in the whole industry. It could happen here. We could make a partnership on the stage.
I think JJ and Patrick is the partnership we're all looking for now.
Oh my God.
I agree with them.
She's shipping us. It's okay.
Yeah, I actually have an idea for Hosky. We wanted to make like a liquidity pool for Hosky NFTs. So a different way to trade in an NFT, not to go to to JPEG.store, etc., and buy it, but a way you could have it in a liquidity pool.
Okay.
Where you can basically swap ADA for any NFT that's in the pool, but you get a random one, and then you could
just swap ADA for anything that's in the pool, and you get a random NFT back.
Yeah, exactly, and it's a new way of the price discovery.
Price discovery. It's also a bit zany. It's a bit like Hosky, on brand for Hosky. I don't know. I don't want to. But, I would feel great if there was like a partnership that came out of a partnership panel. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Very meta.
Sounds like burning ADA to me.
Sounds like burning ADA. Sounds like a lot of transaction fees.
The problem is we already, in a way, all work together.
It's true.
Degree. So it's not, we already partner. It's like...
It is. An event like this, it feels like we're all on the same team, which is nice. And it makes it a lot easier. I think your point about coming to an event like this, if you're trying to create a partnership, it's important to show up. It's important to be here in person and shake hands and exchange information, but really try to ask good questions and let people tell their story.
Yeah, and it's really, events like these are really important, as you said. I think the Cardano Foundation has outdone themselves with this event. It's just everyone is approachable. You can literally go up to any person here and talk to them, be it a CEO or like a developer or anyone. And I think that's really strong. And I don't think that there are many other ecosystems at the moment in crypto where you find events that are so well attended, so professional, and so many like high quality people that you can actually meet. And that's really the strength. Like in the bear market, everything gets smaller, everyone comes together.
Sure.
And that's where the like really important foundational partnerships are being made.
I would say it's important to look around right now at all the projects, all the people that are here in the middle of the bear market year
Yes.
2. And these are the people that you want to look to, get advice from, because they're here when it's tough. It's
Yeah.
easy to be here in the bull market. It's totally different to still be here building in the bear.
It is. I mean, it's beautiful. There's folks that will watch this on a recording, but behind us here, there are probably within just visual range right now, there's probably 200, 300, 400 people within sight. I mean, it's a very well-attended event. Cardano Foundation has done a fantastic job hosting this in Dubai for the first time. I think it's really brought a lot of different kinds of people together, and it seems to be a hotbed for partnerships. So I'm very happy that I was able to do this today with you guys and you folks. And thank you for the opportunity to ask you all a little bit about strategic partnerships. And I hope that we're able to do this again soon. And I hope that we get to see something like a little NFT pool or something like that. I don't know. Maybe you can talk to Hosky after this. But thank you all for participating. And I hope you all have a great rest of your conference. And we'll talk to you again soon. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you, JD.
Thank you.
Woof.